Hey everyone, how are you for a Tuesday night? We're on really early. We're like an hour and a bit early compared to what we would normally be on at 9 o'clock. And I'll explain why in a minute. I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know if people are looking for the show. They're probably like, oh, there's still an hour until Ping comes on at 9 p.m. How are you, Marilyn? Good to see you, Rachel. Kathy Lynch, good to see you. Robbie and Moonlight View. By the way, the man is still keeping us down. So thank you to the people who liked the new Facebook page. And you may have noticed that there are no posts since Monday. And that is because the man is still keeping us down. They are still banning me from posting. And I have no idea why. I haven't had any emails. I haven't got any notifications. I have no idea. I haven't got anything. It doesn't say anything's wrong. I've checked all my account settings. I haven't, yeah, like I said, I haven't received an email that I have to do something. Nothing. It just keeps giving me this same error over and over and over again, and I can't figure out what I've done wrong. All I did was make a Facebook account. Um, I've emailed them. Hopefully, they'll get back to me, and then we'll see what happens after that. So thank you for liking it and commenting. I was trying to reply to people and I can't even do that. So hopefully at some point we'll be able to get back to it. They'll let me post again at some point. When is that? I'm not sure. Sometime in the future, maybe. Sometime in the future. Hey Laurie, good to see you. Maria. Hey Jen. It's good to see you. Hey. Sean's here too. Hey Sean. And Marlene made it. So I want to talk about this one first, but but many buts. I want to talk about the Tanya Glover thing from yesterday very quickly. I watched that documentary. I got off the air and I sat there for a couple of hours doing some more research on it because Tanya's story I'm very, very interested in, and I really want a resolution to this one because I think it is disgusting that a person took advantage of someone who was differently abled and had some challenges in life. Like she was blind. I think she had hearing issues too. I mean, to take advantage of a woman like that is really the lowest of the low. It really is. I can't think of anything more heinous is to take advantage and then kill someone who can't even see you coming. Like that's like how much of a soft target do you want to attack? Like how much of a loser are you that you have to attack a blind deaf woman? So I'm really very invested into finding out who did this, why they did it, and how do we get justice for Tanya. Anyway, listening to the documentary that we watched last night, it's this one here, The Woman in the Wall. An interesting point came up, and if you watched it, you'll know what I'm about to say because we didn't talk about it yesterday. So yesterday we found out the place where they found her body is not the place where she lived. I originally thought the place where they found her body was where she rented the apartment. That's how they made it seem when it originally first came out. She lived 5 kilometers away at a different housing complex. But get this, the place she was found is run by the same people that run her one that are 5 kilometers away. It's run by the same company. There are no coincidences in life. There are no coincidences. None. There is something here. There is a connection. How the F did they know that how would they know that apartment is there? How would they know it's run by the same company? It's someone involved. It's like I'm telling you, it is someone involved either with the housing complex or lived in both of them. Like had lived in the one that she had been in and lived in this one or had friends in that one. It's something like that. There is some connection to the housing company because how would she randomly end up in the basement of a company, like of an apartment complex run by the same like government housing company? It's something freaking strange there. I don't know about landlord. Property manager had some pretty crap answers. including, did you ever speak to her mother when you tried to call like relatives when she went missing and didn't come home? He says, "Oh, I can't recall if I spoke to her family or not, but I tried." That's not a great answer, bud. That's not a great answer. Rachel said, "That's interesting. Someone from that building did this. Maybe. What about a maintenance guy or it's some connection? Could it occur?" So she lived in a shared accommodation where she had like communal facilities, like a communal kitchen, a communal laundry, but she had her own room. Could it have been someone who lived in the in another apartment? Could it have been a worker? It's someone who knows the different properties connected under this particular public housing. It has to be. There's no way you randomly pick an apartment block to dump her body and it's the same company. Like, they're so far and few between. Like, I know there's none around here. Like, there is, but they're far away. How would you know to dump her in the same one that is run by the same company? I just there's something here. The cops have got to get more into this and find out who was there at the time, who was employed by the company at the time, and who was renting all those rooms. And I hope that's the direction they're going in because I think this is solvable. I think whoever did this is on the run and has been for a while. They may be more panicked now that her body has finally been found. But for about 10 years, they were thinking no one had found her. I was able to get away. They'll never find me, but I think they'll be able to find out who did this. Rachel says, one thing's for sure, the cops should have plenty of people to investigate. Yes. I think they got I think they've got a hard job ahead of them. You've got to track down all these people. Some of them might not be even alive right now. Um, these housing complexes are used for people with complex issues, sometimes drug and alcohol, sometimes mental illness, and sometimes just differently abled people who don't get a fair shot in other housing type situations. So you've got a big mixture of people here, all suffer from multiple different things that can that can shorten your life, right? They can shorten your life for various different reasons. 10 years is a long time. So maybe some of these people are no longer alive, unfortunately. There is unfortunately evidence lost due to that. And someone going into her room and clearing it out has probably also destroyed a bunch of evidence. Like, I know she wasn't found for 10 years, but if someone had called the cops earlier on, maybe they would have found something. Can be taken advantage of very easily. There's something here. I feel like it's right there, but we just don't have the all the information, if that makes sense. I feel like once we hear what actually happened, we're all gonna go, "Oh, that's what happened." Like, we're all gonna just go, "Oh, of course it was." I yeah, I just don't believe in coincidences in true crime. I've they just don't exist. Things happen for a reason, and there's always, like, a backstory or, a justification. There's a justification for why they put Tanya in that particular apartment, and they had a reason for going there. What was the reason? We don't know, but there's a reason they went there. Marlene says, "We have group homes in the US and they have caregivers 24/7." So this was a little bit different. We do have those type of homes here too, but they're more like care homes. This was not a care home. This was more like independent living. That's probably not even the right word. It's like assisted living. So there are people around, but you're allowed to live your life. But there's sort of some people that check in every so often, if that makes sense. Like, not all the time, just yeah, just not frequently. It's mostly independent. That's the way I was explained where she lived. So yeah, there you go. I learned that fact last night. Very, very interesting. There's that apartment complex. This is where she was found, not where she lived. And they found her in the basement. There's like a car park under here, and there's a cleaning sort of storage area. She was found behind the cinder block wall. How did someone know that was there? What, they just walked around apartment blocks and went, "Oh my god, this one is run by the Brisbane Housing Company, just like the one we got her from. Let's go to oh my god, they have a giant hole in the wall. Let's put her behind there." No. Nope. That's not how things work. Not a chance. It's someone connected to, where she lived. Someone connected. Like social worker, yeah. Supportive housing, that's a good word. Reminds me of the woman in the rug story you did. Yeah, it does a little bit, right? Similar. But, yeah, I think there's someone out there right now who is having to change their underwear quite frequently every time Tanya is mentioned in the media. I think they're still out there. I think they're able to be caught, and I think we're able to bring someone to justice for her. She deserves justice, just because she was, forgotten about by everyone else doesn't mean she doesn't deserve to have her killer brought to court and, the facts known around how she died and, you know, have someone held accountable for her death. She had a long life to live. She wasn't that old. She was not really that old, and she still had, another 40 years on Earth, maybe more, decades and decades to do whatever she wanted to do, and that is, to me, the most disturbing, is that, there's someone out there who's willing to prey on a woman like that. So, we'll see. Don't know. I'm not sure. The police have been so tight-lipped about what they have and what they don't have, and what they found on so she was wrapped in a cloth or something, like some sort of fabric. She was rolled up like a mummy. She was rolled up like a mummy and put behind a wall and then covered with some other items, rugs and some clothing and stuff. Like, they tried to make it look like someone was storing items behind there. And in 10 years, no one ever bothered to look at exactly what it was. So they also believe the wrapping of the body in the way it was done prevented the smell of decomposition from coming out. So that's why they believe no one ever like came forward like saying, "Hey, there's a bad smell down here. What the hell? It smells like dead body." Like, they believe that slowed that, not slowed the decomp, but slowed the smell from getting out and alerting people. It also wasn't a frequently used area of, that apartment block, so I do like this, tightly wrapped and partially buried. So behind that wall must have been, soil or dirt, which is pretty normal in a parking garage. Someone must have dug like a little, uh, not a hole, like a trough, to try and probably what I reckon is to take her body down below eye level so that if you look through the hole in the cinder blocks, you wouldn't automatically see her. I think it was to drop her down, below, like, the window opening. Like, so it had, like, it's, like, looked like a window, but it's just a hole in the wall. Um, I think it was to drop her down below it so that if you did look in and kind of had a quick look around and it's dark down there, you wouldn't instantly go, "Oh my god, there's a dead body right here." And I think that's probably why it was partially buried. Hey Wendy R, how are you? So there you go. There's some more information on Tanya, and I hope we get some more resolution for her. I really do. We can't forget about people like this, right? We can't let these cases become like, oh, you remember that blind woman who was killed like 50 years ago? No, we can't. That can't happen. It's not okay. Someone has to fight for her and keep her name in the public mind. Hey, Glitter, how are you? Oh, oh, Eric did that. Oh, that's so kind of him. Oh, I had no idea. Thank you very much, Glitter. I know Glitter's a moderator over there. That's very, very yeah, that's very kind of you and Eric. I really appreciate it. Hope Eric wasn't too mad for doing that, but I appreciate it. Thank you. It's very kind. Very kind of you. I'll have to reach out to Eric after the show and touch in with him. All right. I want to talk about this missing girl out of Miami. I'm going to show this to you, and then everyone's going, "Oh my god, she was found in the last hour." I hope she was, so that she's not out there. At the same time, I don't want to get punked on my show like I do every time I do a missing person case. No, it looks like she's unfortunately still missing. Let me show you this video. So I want to show you the video. You may have seen it already on some other channel. Tell me what you see in the video, and then I'll tell you some details, okay? All right, this is her. We'll play it a couple of times. Let me know what you see here. We're looking at mannerisms, like if this was you, like what kind of mood do you think she's in?
Silent
Oh,
Observer is offering a $1,000 reward
are
for
they?
information. Silent Observer is
There we go. There we go. Let's watch this again. What do you think? What kind of mood do you think this young girl is in? The words they're using in the media is panicked. But I don't think that's correct. I don't think she looks panicked as such. I think she looks rushed. I think she wants to sneak away as quickly as possible without her parents knowing. That's sort of the feeling I get. I don't get panic. I get like she's sneaking out of the house and wants to get to wherever she wants to go before her parents realize she's not there. That's what I get from it. I think panic's the wrong word. I think she knows where she's going. Why she's doing it, I don't know. But I feel like she's not panicked, she's not scared. I feel like she's meeting a friend, a boy, something like that, like meeting a girlfriend. One of the interesting bits of information I can tell you, authorities have tried to ring her phone. Her phone has been turned off but now. They tried to ring her friends. Her friends' phones have been turned off as well. I don't know what that means, but it seems very odd that her phone would be turned off and her friends' phones are turned off. I don't think this is like a taken situation where they're like, "Hey, I've got your daughter. We need $1 million. Come to Europe." I don't think that's what's going on here. Yeah, I don't think panic's the right word. I get like she just wants to she's picked up all her stuff and she's trying to get out of the apartment building before her parents realize that she's not in that apartment. And that's why she sort of juggled something. I don't know if it's a vape pen or a mobile phone. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a white object she almost drops. I'll show you. There. I don't know what that is. Is it headphones? Oh, it's a necklace. It's a necklace. Is it a necklace? Yeah. There's something right at the start here. It sort of bounces up. Is that what that is? Like a pendant or a chain or something? Something around her neck. I thought she almost dropped like a vape pen or something because it's kind of reflective, but I think it's a necklace or headphones or something. It's something around her neck. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, let me get you some more details here. So it says here her name is Alyssa, and she is a 14-year-old girl seen running in a panic before she vanished from her West Florida, West Miami. So Florida. This is Southwest 67th Avenue and 22nd Street in West Miami around 7:20 p.m. on Sunday. She's described as having long brown hair, brown eyes, weighing around 200 pounds, and she's around 5'8". She was last seen wearing a black tank top, black leggings, and purple shoes, according to the West Miami Police Department. They say Alyssa's worried mother, Lysandra, told NBC6 that the family recently moved from Cuba to South Florida and that her daughter does not have any mental conditions. Well, that's good. And they said, I never thought she would do this, that she would leave us. And there's a better photo of the young lady here. And it says here, surveillance video captured the 14-year-old sprinting down a hallway just before exiting through a door to a stairwell at the family's apartment building. The mother said her daughter told her that she was going to take the trash out, but she never returned. She says, when I didn't hear her come back in quickly, I called her. When my boy and I went out to look for her throughout the whole building, we didn't find her. The worried mother believes her daughter might have been planning to run away. She was running with her shoes under her arm. She came down the stairs through this door here. Well, we can't see that. The girl's father says he and his wife are worried because she's never done this before. They say she usually doesn't go out. She's always in the house. I wish she'd be right here next to me right now. Interesting. They say her parents now believe their daughter might have run away with two school friends who they have not met before. Apparently, they have been calling and sending messages and they haven't had any reply. They say, please, we want her to come back. We're suffering a lot. We want her to come home. So according to the detective with the Miami Police Department, they told CBS News that when they tried to reach the missing teen by cell phone, it was shut off. They tried to reach the cell phones of one of her two friends, but they were also shut off. The mother says she has never left the house before. This is the first time she has done this, and I am worried a lot. So here is, so her name is Alyssa Velazquez. I'm pronouncing that right. And yeah, you tell me. Parents are petrified. They would really like to have her home. And they don't know why she would do this. There's a good photo of her. Let me grab you that CBS video. Yeah, 14 years old, quite young. Hey, Kathy. How are you? I agree too. I agree with you. Shoes under her arm. Yeah, that's interesting. Let me grab the CBS video for you from her parents, so you can hear them talk. They did an interview yesterday with CBS Miami. By the way, I say this very for legal reasons. This is from CBS Miami, their YouTube channel. I will link in the description of this video. Here you go.
The search for a missing 14-year-old girl, and her parents are asking for the public's help. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench joins us from West Miami, where police are also concerned. Peter, you've got new surveillance video showing where she was last seen?
That's right, Laura. I'm going to show you that in a moment. West Miami police tell us they have no leads in this case since she left her apartment building right here on Southwest 67th Avenue. They also say that they've not been able to find any friends whose cell phones have been turned off as well. Now, I spoke with her parents, and they told me they hope someone can help. Lysandra Velazquez del Paso and her husband tell us they are desperate to find their daughter, Alyssa Mariela Velazquez. She just turned 14 years old. Now she is missing.
She has never left home before. This is the first time she has done this. I am worried a lot. I don't know if she's in a good spot or a bad spot, or if she is lost. I think the worst.
The
biggest fear is that she has never left us before. She doesn't usually like to go out. She is always in the house.
West Miami Police Detective Richard Menner says a teenager was last seen around 7:30 Sunday night when she was captured on surveillance tape leaving her family's fourth-floor apartment at this building on Southwest 67th Avenue and 22nd Street.
She looked like she was in a hurry. She took the stairwell to the ground floor. She was wearing a brown tank top, black pants, and purple flip-flops.
Menner says Alyssa has dyed her hair black, has brown eyes, is 5'8" and 200 pounds. Police have released this flyer.
She's not known to do this. She doesn't have a history of running away. She has no mental illness. We're about her safety. We try to reach her cell phone. Her cell phone's been shut off. We also try to reach the cell phone of possibly one of or two of her friends. They've also been shut off.
Please look at the picture. If you see her, help us and communicate with police.
Now, Alyssa's parents and Detective Mena are not sure who she may be with or why she took off, but if you can help, call West Miami Police at 305-266-0530. That's 305-266-0530.
You know, after the craziness that has been throughout Florida, including the West Miami area, which has had a tornado outbreak just a week ago. I mean, the last thing we need is a runaway 14-year-old as well. But you see her parents; they're quite worried. They would like her home. She's a little too young to be wandering the streets of a foreign country. They haven't been here that long. She don't know Miami, like, she didn't grow up there or anything. So it is a worrying time for them. Sean says it's a haywire age for a lot of girls. Yeah, I think teenagers in general, male and female, both have their challenges going through like we all know what that age is. That phase of their lives, it causes a lot of issues. Because the chemicals in their brain are not like what we have when we're older, right? When we're a little older, like the age we are, it's all settled down a little bit. We're not as like, gassed up. They're a little gassed up at that age, and they're not, they're still trying to figure it out and trying to like assert their dominance and find boundaries, that type of thing. It's very, very hard age for teenagers and parents. Wendy says, "How good of a friend can you have in such a short amount of time?" That's a good point. I agree. When I first saw the video of her, I thought she was at least 16, 17. But she's quite a tall girl, 5'8". She's quite a taller young lady. Female average is like 5'4". So she's at least 4 inches taller than the average female. And her body type makes her look a little older than what she actually is. So, yeah. At your age, no roller coasters? I don't know how to take that. I was hoping the roller coasters keep going, just not as dramatic. All right. Here we go. Let's see what else it has to say here. Let's have a look. So what street is this? Wait, we have the street up here. All right, let me grab the street. I just want to have a look, like, what is around this area? Yeah, Southwest 67th Avenue and 22nd Street in West Miami. Let's see if we can get it on a map. I just want to have a look. Southwest 67th and 22nd Street. Okay, there's 67. What do we want? 20 something. I don't know how far into town we got to go. That's Southwest 2nd. 32nd, 30th, 27, 22. What number did we want? 20, 22. 25, 23, 22. Okay, so right here. This must be the apartment complex somewhere around here. Southwest 22nd and South. Is that correct? No, 22nd Street. No, Southwest 67th and 22nd. Well, that's 22nd, but it's Southwest 22nd. And that's Southwest 67. I don't know if that's the same one, but a lot of apartments around here. Or at least in that block there is. There's 1, 2, 3. Really nice ones. Oh, look, a pool. They all each got a swimming pool? They do. I don't know. There's a lot of places you could go from here. Even if it's not the 100% correct street. Look, it's all residential for the most part. You could head into town or down this way, but they just look like resorts. What is this? Industrial. You can go to the baseball park. I'm not sure, but if she's staying with friends, then they must have somewhere relatively safe that they're hiding out. Imagine searching this area for her. Look at this. It just looks like ants. You just go out. Oh my God, look. 9 million houses in West Miami. I'm not sure. But that sort of does look like the apartment complex in the video. The wooden roller coaster. I'll tell you a story one time. Growing up in Western Sydney, where I grew up for the majority of my life, uh, we had a place called Wonderland, and it was a theme park. And living in Australia, we don't have a lot of theme parks. Like, we don't have a Florida as such, at least not when I was a kid. We do now. It's in the Gold Coast, but when I was a kid, we had a place called Wonderland, and they had a wooden roller coaster called the Bush Beast, and it was so monstrously tall. It rattled like crazy when you went on it. You would think bolts would drop from it. I'm not kidding. Like, this thing was so rickety. Every time you went on it, you're like, is this thing going to collapse? But it was the most fun you could have in, well, before you met girls. It was the most fun you could have. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened to it. Eventually, the company went bankrupt and they sold all the rides. So I'm not sure whatever happened to it. But we had wooden roller coasters in Western Sydney. No, I've never been there. No, I can't say I have. Can't say I have. There you go. So this 14-year-old girl, Alyssa, I hope they find her. West Miami. I hope her friends do the right thing and go to an adult. Like, you're causing so much distress for maybe not even just one family, maybe 2, 3. I don't know how many other young girls are involved in this runaway attempt, but sometimes when you think you're doing things for the right reason, you're actually not. And yeah, this could get a whole lot worse a lot quicker without you guys realizing it. Need to get her home to her parents. If there's issues at home, if that's why she's run away from home, those type of things can be sorted out. I've seen millions of times where little kids have run away to a friend's home or gone off with friends because there's some issue at home. It always comes out in the end, whatever the issue is, because the first thing when you return, authorities, school, whatever, they're going to ask, why'd you do this? And the first thing you're going to have to tell them is what the issue is. And then you'll sort it out, everything will get better, and hopefully it'll chill out. So heading home, and the sooner you do that, is the better route here than staying out there, getting a more bigger police presence, people looking for you, public appeals, newscasting. Like, you got an Australian. You got an Australian from Melbourne, Australia, talking about you. For real. I hope you're Googling your name right now. If you're Googling your name right now and you see this live cast, are you watching right now? You have an Australian talking about you. Go home. Call your parents, please. Call your mum and dad. If you don't want to call them, at least call someone you trust. Call the police. If you don't want to talk to your parents, call the police. At least talk to them and tell them where you are and that you're safe. That'll at least give them some sort of like assurance that you're okay. That's the minimum you could do. Just call someone you trust and tell them that you're okay. That's the best thing you could do. And I hope you're watching right now, because I'm guessing you think you're a little bit of a movie star right now because everyone's talking about you, and that you're probably watching any live stream that has your name in it. Call someone, anyone an adult you think you can trust. Just give them a call. Tell them that you're okay, and at least because it just gets worse from here. I promise. We've done we do hundreds of these stories every year. I promise. We do so many runaway kids and teens who have gone missing, young people 18, 19 as well that have gone missing. and the next steps after this are just worse and worse. So get in touch with someone you trust. Dyslexia says, I hate not knowing if she's okay. I think that's the main part, right? That's why I'm saying call an adult you trust and at least tell them that you're alive and well and that you're being fed and taken care of and you're somewhere that's not outdoors and there's a home or something that there's an adult at least that's taking care of you and your friend or whatever. Just some sign of life that you're doing okay. Issues can be worked out. I think even at 14, even I thought, oh my God, these issues are so insurmountable. I'm never going to get out of this hole I'm in. And then you realize as you get a little older that the issues you had when you were 14 are so tiny. They seem so big at the time, but they're actually very, very small things that you can talk out or discuss, find solutions to, and that, can move past them. It doesn't have to end badly. So if you're watching, please give your either call your mom and dad, send them a text message, something that they know it's you. Do you and your mom have a code word? Use that code word and talk to mom or talk to dad. If you don't want to talk to them, at least call the detective. He's not going to trace your call. This isn't CBS or whatever they call it. What is it? That stupid show where they're like, we can solve a crime in 45 minutes. It ain't CSI Miami. They ain't going to track you down in 10 minutes. They're just going to find out if you're okay. You can even call from a payphone if you want. Just make sure you're all right. All right? That's all anyone cares about. So I hope if you're watching, you're okay. Marlene Clausen says the good thing is many people and the cops speak Spanish. Yeah, the other night in Houston for the helicopter crash, the fire chief and the police chief gave a press conference in English, and then they gave a secondary press conference, or like just the same press conference again in Spanish, and they were able to just do it fluently. It was really interesting. Yeah, it's great. I wish I knew Spanish. I do not. I know none. I know cuatro, whatever that is. I think it's 4. That's it. Kathy says, single overprotective parent, always fear the online trickster that lures the young away from home. I hope she is safe. That makes me hyperventilate. She's a stranger in a strange land. Yeah, I think that's one of the most troubling bits, right? Is I haven't been in Miami that long. Miami is really, it's an interesting city. I like Miami, but it's really a very much a adult's playground, and it has some darker sides to Miami. It really does. And while it's safe for the most part, there's a lot of bad things in Miami too at the same time, and not a city for little kids to be running around in. Maryland says we don't know what's going on at home. That's why I said if you don't want to call if you don't want to call mom and dad, call someone, anyone. Call like you have a school chaplain or a school teacher or something, someone in a position of authority that you trust, that's not going to rat you out. Call them, message them on Facebook, something like that, like get in touch with them somehow and just say, hey, I don't feel comfortable talking to my parents, but I just want to let someone know, an adult, that I'm okay and that these are my plans, or I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, and you can just leave it at that. At least that way they can figure it out or negotiate for you to come in and talk to the teacher or something. Whatever the situation is, things can be resolved. I promise. It's not as doom and gloom as you think it might be. I remember being that age and thinking everything was the biggest problem in the world, and it's a hard feeling not to have, especially at that age. Small things in your life that make little bumps when you're that age, like that disrupt your life, they seem much bigger at that age, even though they're much smaller when you spread it out over a longer period of time. So, yeah. Hope you're watching. Your name is in the title. If you watch this later, please listen to Ping. Ping's a smart guy, and I've done a million of these cases, and the best thing for you is to find an adult that you can trust and get them to negotiate whatever you need. All right. Let's get out of there. Why is someone sending me a photo of a burrito? Are you just trying to make me hungry? What is going on here? Someone just emailed me a photo of Taco Bell. What are you doing? I hope she listens. I really do. That's why I only put her name in the title, hoping that she might be searching social media for videos about her. Hormones raging? Maybe. Just, I just hope she realizes that those problems that seem so big at that age end up being less, not important, but just less of a problem than you think it is. It is Trisha. It wasn't Trisha. She didn't send me a photo. Actually, I don't think Trisha's ever sent me anything about food, ever. She normally sends me stuff about true crime. No, it wasn't Trish. She didn't send me a photo of food. Someone did. They're trying to sabotage the show. They're trying to sabotage it and make Ping hungry. All right, let's keep going. We've talked about her. Said what I wanted to say. Yeah, okay, let's keep going. This one is very interesting. This is from my friend, I Hate Mornings. I Hate Mornings, thank you so much for your email today. I really do appreciate it. Let me grab this. Is it going to let me? No, okay. A suspect arrested, okay. Is it this one? Hold on. So there was a story we read about a while ago. I'm just trying to find her name. No, it's not that one. All right, I'm gonna have to do that later. Actually, I Hate Mornings. If you're watching, can you send me a different link for that one? That particular company, whatever it's called, don't allow my IP to use that link, and for some reason her name's not in the title, so I can't just like search her. Like I know the story, but can't remember her name. So or you can just email me the name, and then I can pick it up. Thanks for that. By the way, I want to show you this one from Gala then, and then I'll show you something else. All right. This is very interesting because we've talked about this before. I did an entire show on Pink, Pink, and then this, this C word that is sort of like Coca-Cola, but it's not. It's something else. We did an entire show on the background of that particular substance. I don't know if anyone remembers, but we did an entire show. I broke down exactly what it was, where it came from, and like how it got its name and that type of thing. So I don't know if anyone remembers that show, but it started in South America, if I remember correctly, and they call it Tusi. And they call it 2C because the actual chemical name is 2CB, and but it's sort of evolved. They don't always use that particular. That's actually a research chemical, what they call a research chem, and it's been very popular in the party scene since, I don't know, since even I was a teenager. It was quite common, but then they started mixing it and then turning it into this pink powder and selling it as 2C, and now it's sort of taken over the world. But the weird thing is, often when you get this pink C word, this one, pink C word, they don't always use the correct chemical. So the correct chemical is that 2CB. They don't also always do that. And sometimes I'll mix it with like fentanyl, methamphetamine. Oh, see, here you go. It says here, former One Direction singer Liam Payne had multiple drugs, including crack cocaine, methamphetamine in his system when he fell to his death from a balcony in Argentina, according to anonymous Argentinian sources familiar with initial toxicology reports. So, according to ABC News and TMZ, that a cocktail of drugs called Pink C-word, containing methamphetamine, ketamine, and MDMA, has been found during a partial autopsy, along with crack cocaine and benzodiazepine. Both outlets cited anonymous sources familiar with preliminary tests. So, my opinion is that he was using the benzo to come off the uppers. So the uppers being the methamphetamine. Methamphetamine will keep you awake for days. I'm telling you. Don't ask how I know, but they will. And the benzodiazepine is to kill off the high from the methamphetamine and get you to go to sleep. But if you mix some of these things together, like the ketamine, MDMA, it's actually a relatively safe drug unless you drink a lot of water or in a hot environment. But I think it's more this, the methamphetamine and the benzodiazepine. Those two things together can really mess with you because your body wants to go up from the meth, and the benzodiazepine is trying to force you down. So, you get sort of like you get a fight within your body unless you have enough of the benzodiazepine to kill off the up effect from the methamphetamine. So, just from what I know, researching stuff like that. ABC News and TMZ reported that a cocktail of drugs called pink cocaine. Well, no, pink cocaine is 2C, which is normally 2CB, not normally methamphetamine, ketamine, and MDMA. Although sometimes they will mix MDMA and ketamine. Is it MDMA and ketamine? This is what I mean. This pink C word, I've already said it, so we're going to get demonetized. This pink cocaine stuff it's almost like a branding exercise. It's not really an elicited substance. It's more like a branding thing. It's almost like you went to McDonald's. McDonald's is a brand, right? But you don't know the product you're going to get. So it could be a fillet of fish or it could be a Big Mac. That's sort of the same with pink cocaine now. Pink cocaine is just a brand. It's just a branding exercise. So what you actually get when you get that from a dealer could be anything. It should be 2CB, but they've started doing this other stuff to try and mimic the effects of 2CB. So if he has that in his system, I'd be very concerned. They're saying here, the AP reported an anonymous official said the preliminary toxicology report suggested evidence of exposure to cocaine, but stressing that these are initial results and don't offer accurate readings of just how much was circulating in his blood when he died. Yeah, so we'll need to see how many parts per liter or milligram or whatever they use in the blood and see how much was actually in his system and his liver at the time, like how much was his body processing at the time. So they may take blood, even stomach and liver samples to try and find out how much of these active chemicals were rolling through his body at the time. And they should be able to tell depending on how far it's processed through the body. Is there any in his nostrils, mouth, other places, that type of thing. So there's a bunch of different ways they can find out. Where's Joseph Scott Morgan when we need him? He'll know. Is that Diddy's favorite? I'm not sure. Maybe. Guys, I might have to jump off. I just got to check on something. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, good. It's all good. We can stay on, I think. A real drug cocktail, yes. Sure. Current girlfriend left early and former girlfriend was being stalked by him. Seems he had lady problems, yes. Or he was the problem for the ladies. Sean says, I recall a teen jumping to his death after taking a synthetic drug thinking he could fly. I think that was bar salts, but yes. Similar but not the same. 2CB's been around for a really long time. There's others too called like There's 2BI, 2BC, 2B 2BI. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of them with like three-letter and number combinations, and they all start with like 2 hyphen CB, 2 hyphen CI, 2 hyphen something. There's a whole range of them, but the most common, I'm pretty sure, is 2CB and 2CI. They're the two that I remember from when I was younger that were circulating around. That's really good, right? Isn't that a good thing that it should go to his son? It should be how it works, right? That's why you have offspring, to give them what you earn, or if you want to. Associated Press reported that officials spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to brief journalists on the subject. The preliminary report was widely reported in local media on Monday. They say Argentina's public prosecution is investigating a case which is not uncommon when a death is sudden or unexpected. Payne's autopsy concluded that the traumatic injuries that caused his death were consistent with his three-story fall from the hotel window. Prosecutors have ruled out anyone else being involved in his death. That is very sad. They're saying here, investigators have found what appeared to be narcotics and alcohol strewn about in the hotel room, and they're saying that's leading the prosecution to surmise that he suffered a substance abuse-induced breakdown around the time of his fall. The prosecution said Payne could have plunged from his hotel room balcony in a state of semi or total unconsciousness. They did say he was in some sort of, like, he was having a I don't know what the word is, like, convulsions. If he did that on the balcony and maybe collapsed and he passed out or something and went, I mean, that would be awful, right? I think he lived a troubled life for the last few years of his life, which is very sad. It's very sad for someone who had so much success and that, and it goes back into that saying that money and success don't always buy you happiness and can actually lead to more problems. I heard he was an extremely paranoid guy who unfortunately had a penchant for alcohol and some drug use, which doesn't help the paranoia. Mariela says the room was a mess. Yeah, I saw. Didn't we post those photos last time? Yeah, we can have a look. Oh, I think we've just seen the ones that we've already seen, which are sort of like the Smash TV and all that. Like that one. With like he broke a TV, very rock star. Yeah, he's 7-year-old bear. Yeah, I know. He didn't try to break his fall, which indicates unconsciousness. So he may have had a seizure or something on the balcony. That's really sad. You know, that shows you got to be real careful. I want to know if the investigation into the hotel and their processes is still ongoing, because I had read that shoving a guest back into their room when they're having a medical episode is actually against their standard operating procedure. And if that's true, then what kind of liability is it on the hotel staff? Not saying they did anything wrong. I'm just saying they probably did the best in the circumstances, but did that contribute to his death at all? And if calling emergency services when he was in the lobby and then clearing out other guests from the lobby and locking that area down on a ground floor, would that have been a smarter idea? Is that something they may institute in a later period of time to, in case this ever happens again? Maybe it never will, but something to look at. Yeah, very sad. All right. I don't know how much time we have left. Hold on. Let me just double check something, my ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? My browser's freezing, guys. Hold on. All right, guys. Everything's going good on my side. How are you? How was court today? Did everyone have fun with Delphi? Did everyone have fun with that? Oh, I don't think I have an update. So I was waiting today for an update on um, the case that we've been following out of Montana, and no update again today. No update on Suzanne Simpson either. Everything's gone a little quiet. Let me check Gallatin. Still no update on Dustin, who was the guy found in the... Yeah, no update from Gallatin County Sheriff's Office on that one. And I'm going to just check something else. Hold on. That's very interesting. Associate of Susan Simpson's husband arrested on tampering with evidence charge. That's very interesting. They say an associate of Susan Simpson's husband was arrested on Monday on tampering with evidence charge. According to the Bexar County court records, James Vale Cotter, 65, was charged with tampering or fabricating physical evidence with intent to impair an investigation, and his bond was set at $500,000. They say Cotter is also named alongside Susan Simpson's husband, Brad, in a recent lawsuit against his company, Cotter Sons, Inc. Court records reveal Simpson collaborated with one of the Cotter sons to establish and manage a janitorial company after expressing dissatisfaction with the services at Cotter and Sons facilities. When other executives deemed Premier Facility Solutions, a company founded by Simpson, to be inadequate, Simpson and his co-founders sold the business to National Business Services. The sale included a promise of providing new janitorial contracts to clean the Cotter buildings, but NBS eventually filed a lawsuit after Cotter and Sons slowly paid or underpaid the invoices. A jury found Cotter and Sons had breached the contract with NBS and awarded NBS over $850,000. According to his arrest, Valet is ordered to surrender his passport and is under full house arrest, and his bond has been set at $500,000. Wow. And so that is very interesting. Why would they arrest his best friend? Did he help dispose of her body? And being that they're a janitorial service, is that why they were checking the rubbish? Like they were checking the landfill like a week ago for her. That is interesting. They've got to find her though. They've got to find her. She's been missing for almost, what is it, like 2 weeks now? 3 weeks? Yeah, very interesting. That is an interesting update, but still no Susan Simpson. Still no body. Still haven't been able to find her. I saw this in the corner here. I wanted to check it out. Sorry, I don't want to jump topics, but what is this? A student that died, student likely crushed in trash truck, incinerated after passing out in garbage, police. This reminds me, there was a case in England, like, I don't know, it must be a decade ago now, where a guy that was at a pub came out, and I'm not sure what happened after that. I have to look it up, but he was sort of like, he's a bit inebriated, and they never saw him leave the area, and they don't know what happened to him, and they speculate that he either slept on a bin or in a dumpster, and that he may have passed out and the truck collected him in the morning and killed him when it compressed it in the back of the truck, and then took him to a landfill, and they've never been able to find his body. And they have CCTV of where they last saw him, and he never came back in or out. They were never able to find him. Like, they saw him go into this sort of dead end area, but they never saw him go back the other way. And reminds me of that. They say investigators believe a missing student was likely crushed in a trash truck and incinerated after she passed out in a garbage bin. Wow, it's so similar to that one in the UK. They say, according to the New York Post, 24-year-old Agostina Rubini Medina went missing about 3 weeks ago after she disappeared following a night out with friends in Palma, Spain, on the city of Mallorca? They say the National Police of Spain now believe she passed out while digging through a large trash bin after she possibly dropped her phone inside of it after a night out drinking on October 3. The publication reported that police theorized that she was then picked up by a garbage truck and crushed to death before her body was dumped into an incinerator. The US Sun reported that police were able to reconstruct her movements using her cell phone data. The 24-year-old had been last seen around midnight by an employee of a shop located near the bus stop who told authorities that Medina was visibly intoxicated and had stopped in to purchase a bag of chips, per the Post. Wow, what an awful end for that young lady. Let me see if we can find anything else about her. Agostina Medina. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find a thing we can show you here. They say a woman is believed to have been crushed to death after passing out in a rubbish container after coming home from a night out in Spain. They say she disappeared after a night out of partying with friends in Palma, Mallorca, nearly 3 weeks ago. Investigators have found skeletal remains at a waste disposal plant where her phone was last active in the early hours of October 3. They say they believe she fell into a bin while trying to pick something up, possibly her phone, before losing consciousness. They say the binman arrived to empty it 15 minutes after a witness saw her handbag set down nearby. They say her phone went dead after their vehicle arrived at the incineration plant. Police believe she would have died in the lorry before arriving. Wow, what a horrific death. You hear about these cases and it's really, really, really horrible. I have to try find that one from years ago. I can't remember that guy's name. He was found he was out drinking. Was he in the army or something? Hold on. Is it Corey McKeague? Is this it? This might be it, because yeah, RAF gunner. I said he might be military. Yeah, he vanished on a night out in 2016, died after getting into a bin which was then tipped into a waste lorry, according to the inquest into his death. He was an airman, and they say he disappeared in the early hours of the 24th of September in, is it Bury St. Edmunds in Suffolk? They're saying he was last seen on CCTV at 3:25 a.m. entering a service area behind a Greggs shop. Man, Greggs make the best pies and sausage rolls. Sorry, that's not a thing you should say, Ping. They say here his body has never been found despite extensive searches. On Tuesday, an inquest jury recorded a narrative conclusion that he died at approximately 4:20 a.m. as a result of compression asphyxia in association with multiple injuries. They say in their conclusion, they said his death was contributed to by impaired judgment due to alcohol consumption. They said there were ineffective bin locks, an ineffective search of the bin before it was tipped, and poor visibility through a perspex viewing window on the lorry. A lorry is a truck for people who are not UK people. They say his father, Martin, said after the ruling that he hopes his son can finally be left to rest in peace, with the inquest shining a new light on the truth for everyone. Don't think they were ever able to find him, right? They tried to search the garbage location for him, like the landfill, and I don't think they were ever able to locate his remains. What did I pronounce wrong? Mallorca? Did I pronounce that wrong? I probably did. Yeah, yeah, sorry. No J, it's a Y. Thanks. JDR says, yeah, dude, yeah, it's so similar, right? Wait, are these? No. I was about to say, are they both in Spain? No. One is in the UK. One is in in Spain. Yeah, this is the one I remember. This guy. This was such a mystery for ages. They had some CCTV of him. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if we're going to be able to find it. Oh yeah, here we can go to the constabulary from Suffolk. Here, so this is the CCTV from this. I think this is all they have, right? There he is. That's him. And then he goes that way, but they never see him go the other direction or something. And they theorize that if he was to have left that area, he would have had to have walked past this camera. And they tried heaps of stuff. They're like, oh, what if he got into the boot of a car? Or what if he did X, Y, and Z? But none of them, he would still have to pass by the camera, even concealed in something. And they were like, most likely he was in the garbage truck that rocked up a couple of hours later or 45 minutes later, something like that. And they were saying that that's what it would have to have been. There's that CCTV of him. So very similar stories from both of them. Marlene says there was an older student who was in med school in the US. He entered a pub but never came out. It's been 15 years. Is that in Chicago or something? I know that story. I know that story. They theorized that they killed him and took him out the back way or something. I know that story. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, I think the theory is they killed him and took him out the back or something like that. They're not sure how he got out of the pub. But they have him on CCTV entering that area and walking around the local area before he went in there. Brian Shaffer, that's it. Yeah, thank you. Mama Mia says, why the early show tonight? Why not? Maybe I just wanted to see all you.
Morning, Ice Queen.
Guys, hold on. I got some music playing from somewhere. Hold on.
You're not laughing. Why?
We're done. I had to kill it off. It was actually from that CCTV. It had changed to some other weird video. Hello. Brian Schaefer, yeah. Oh, Glitter says, I don't know about Australia, but there are quite a few underground tunnels underneath bars, especially in places like Chicago. Back from Prohibition days, some of them are still accessible. I had heard that, but I wasn't sure if that was, for real. I thought most of them had been closed up by now. At least the majority of them had. And yeah, I didn't know they were still getting into it. Do you guys want to look at Brian Schaefer for a second? Because I want to refresh my memory because I haven't looked at that case in a long time. Downtown Louisville, Kentucky. That doesn't surprise me, considering that's where the majority of like bourbon was made in like the 1900s or whatever. Just curious and thought there was a reason. A reason for what? Oh, why we went on early? Oh yeah. I was potentially having to leave, but I think I'm okay. I had something I had to watch for my new job, and I think it's okay. I can watch it on the replay. So they want me to watch an induction video. Shasta says still some in NYC. Okay, let's look up Brian for a second because I want to refresh my memory. That's interesting. There's some places where they reckon people. Well, Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, there was people that lived in the wastewater tunnels. and they had a huge flood like about a year ago, and it killed a bunch of them because it filled up. It did its job of diverting rainwater, but the people in the tunnel didn't know that the water was coming, and it just like that filled the entire tunnel and killed a bunch of them. You reckon? The TV detective says he got out, but likely went to a party after. I don't know. I don't know. I remember when I researched that story a ton, and I was like, if he was able to get out of that pub, he would have had to walk past one of the security cameras, right? Unless there was a back way or something, and that's the bit I can't remember. Yeah, I remember this guy, medical student, born 1979. Let's see if we can find anything on him. Yeah, let's go to WBNS 10 TV from a couple of years ago.
New tonight, inside the investigation of a possible break in one of our area's biggest mysteries. What happened to Brian Shaffer? He was an OSU student who disappeared back in 2006, never to be seen or heard from again.
Now, almost 14 years later, Crime Tracker 10 brought a potential clue to police. Angela Ann explains how the FBI got involved, what they found out, and what happens next.
When it comes to missing persons in Ohio, there is one name that probably resonates more than any other: Brian Shaffer. His case has the makings of a Hollywood movie. A young medical student last seen going up this escalator to a popular campus area bar. But video never showed him leaving. Or did he? Nearly 14 years after Brian disappeared, this photo recently started circulating of a man supposedly homeless and American in Tijuana, Mexico.
I think I've seen this video before. I'm pretty sure for a while everyone thought this was Brian, but they actually tracked this guy down in Tijuana, and it's not him. It's just a guy that looks very similar to him, but it's not him.
It said, "Help locate." Facebook groups dedicated to finding Brian swore it was him. The theories grew rampant. Brian was alive. So we brought the photo to the attention of Columbus Police and Detective Blanche Tucker.
When you first saw this, what did you think?
I was like, wow, it could be. Could it be? It's a possibility.
Because it does look a little
like him. It does.
It was the first big break for the Brian Shaffer case. Crime Tracker 10 got unprecedented access to the files, showing the endless interviews and the leads police exhausted year after year.
We still get calls and we still receive tips.
Despite those tips and the neighborhood searches, plus pleas for information, answers never came until this photo.
It appeared that it could be Brian Shaffer, but to see if it was him, I contact, the FBI, who assists us in a lot of our cases, to see if they can do a facial recognition.
So the FBI compared the Tijuana man photo with the others they already had in a file of Brian. It took 4 weeks, but finally, Detective Tucker had her answer.
That it wasn't him.
It was not him.
Correct.
Was that a letdown?
It was. My hopes were high that it could be him.
To me, they have completely different facial structures. The doctor has a completely different nose, and his forehead's different to the guy in Tijuana. And the beard covers up some of the jawline structure. And I think if you shave that guy, you would very quickly see that this is not the same man as Brian. And I think that's where the confusion came in, because with the beard, it sort of masks a lot of the facial structure of the guy, especially the lower half here. And I think that's probably where people were just filling in gaps with their own mind. So, because they want it to be him, right? We want to solve the mystery.
Foul play has never been ruled out, nor has the fact that Brian maybe just took off. The stresses of life, med school, and losing a mother to cancer.
Do you feel that somebody that has been interviewed in the past maybe withheld information?
I do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say who yet.
Can't say who.
Under CPD's new cold case initiative, Detective Tucker is now reviewing every binder once again. And while this photo is now a dead end, it is, at least for her, progress in a case that continues to haunt.
And that was years ago. I'm pretty sure that video came out almost 5 years ago now, and that we still don't know what happened to Brian. That is it's one of those ones that you wonder, will we ever know what happened? It's sort of like Madeline McCann, or there's a whole bunch. Actually, Brittany Drexel was one for a while. We all thought we'd never find out. Still blows my mind to this day that we tentatively and allegedly know who the Long Island serial killer is. It blows my mind that we know who that is. I still remember the day, I think I've told the story a few times, that Stacy, insightful one, messaged me and she's like, Ping, you have to turn on the Long Island news. And I'm like, I don't want to turn on the Long Island news. Why do I want to do that? It's like 11 o'clock at night. Why do I want to watch that? And she's like, turn it on now. And I was like, okay. And I turned it on. And I'm like, oh my God, are they raiding some dude's house? And she's like, they've arrested him for the Long Island, the killings. And I'm like, no way. Me and her spent like hours just sitting in shock, staring at Twitter going, this can't be real, can it? And I hope that sort of we have that perception about Brian's case, that it's one of those cases that might never be solved, but ends up being solved because they find something, they re-interview someone and something comes up. I hope so. A cover up. I don't know. You hear the detective. Hear what she says here.
Cancer.
Do you feel that somebody that has been interviewed in the past maybe withheld information?
I do.
You do. Mm-hmm. But you can't say who yet.
Can't say who.
She feels there is someone who has been interviewed in the past that is withholding information of what happened to Brian. That should tell you a lot. She is the person brought in to review the cold case and try and figure out what the hell happened to him. And she says they believe there's someone not telling the truth. There's someone that's not telling them the full story of what happened to Brian. So until they're able to get that person to crack and for them to tell the whole truth, maybe we won't know what happened to him. But I'd love to know your theories. If you have a theory of what happened to Brian Shaffer, let me know. Let me know in the comments or in the chat or on the Facebook or on the Twitter or whatever. I'd love to hear your theories because Ping got no theories. I have no idea. This is one of those ones that I just sit here for hours going, how did he get out of there? Why would he get out of there? Where did he go? I seem to remember though that if he was going to get out of that place, he'd have to go back the way he came or something like that. And hold on, let me read this. He was supposed to show up the next day, right, somewhere. Hold on. Yeah. So I don't know this website, but they're called Historic Flicks. Here we go. They say in 2006, 27-year-old Brian Shaffer had the world at his feet. They say born to Renee and Randy, Brian loved music, the beach, his family, and his girlfriend Alexis. Handsome and gifted in many ways, Brian was adored by his parents. He was a second-year med student at Ohio State, the Ohio State. And while a recent tragedy in the family left Brian devastated, little did he know he would soon contribute to the family's sorrow. On April 1st, 2006, while surrounded by a crowd of bar-hopping college students, Brian became the very definition of the phrase "gone without a trace." Yeah. Let's see. They say Friday, March 31st was the last day of classes for Brian and Alexis before spring break. They say his girlfriend made a short trip out of town and Brian met his father at Outback Steakhouse for dinner. Bloomin' Onion. Brian's dad was still reeling from the loss of his wife just 3 weeks beforehand. Randy said that although Brian looked exhausted from studying for his finals, he was in good spirits. About 9:30 p.m., Brian met up with his friend and former dorm mate William Clint Florence at the Ugly Tuna Saloon, a second-story bar located at 1546 North High Street, Columbus. They say the North High Street is popular among the college crowd, but especially so on the night spring break started. Brian had invited his brother Derek and his girlfriend Lauren to join them, but the couple had other plans and declined. They say at 10 p.m. Brian called Alexis, told her he missed her and loved her, and affirmed how much he was looking forward to the trip to Miami with her. Alexis told him to call her the next day. When he hung up, Brian and Clint left the Ugly Tuna and headed out to the other bars on foot, stopping to do shots along the way. While at the Short North bar, Brian and Clint ran into a friend, Meredith, who gave them a ride back to the Ugly Tuna Saloon. Once there, she decided to go in and have a drink with them. At 1:15 a.m. on April 1st, 2006, cameras picked up Brian, Meredith, and Clint riding up the escalator on their way into the Ugly Tuna at 1:55 a.m. Brian can be seen on the security footage standing in front of the escalator in the foyer just outside the entrance to the bar talking to two Ohio State students. The security camera angle does not show Brian entering the bar again, but he walked out of view of the camera. His friends Clint and Meredith, however, said that Brian did re-enter the Ugly Tuna because they conversed with him about calling it a night and going home. Meredith and Clint last saw Brian as he headed towards the stage. Just a few minutes later, when the bar closed, the crowd filled towards the entrance. It was at this point that Clint and Meredith realized that Brian was nowhere to be found and wasn't answering his phone. They assumed he either got a ride home with someone else, called a cab, walked home, so they left, except Brian never made it home. According to his father and his girlfriend, they called his phone over the weekend. They were unable to contact him. When Monday came, there was still no sign of him. His father called the police to report him missing. They put missing posters up all over town. Police searched dumpsters and even the sewers. Dogs were brought in. While they may have hit on Brian's scent at first, they were unable to follow it anywhere. Brian's car was parked at his apartment. Nothing inside had been tampered with, and there was nothing in his residence. He had simply vanished. According to police, Randy and Meredith both passed a polygraph test. While Clint originally cooperated with the police investigation, he eventually retained a lawyer who advised him not to take the polygraph test. This made people feel as though Clint knew more than he was telling. Police obtained the security footage for the Ugly Tuna Saloon and were able to account for almost everybody seen leaving the bar that night, and Brian wasn't one of them. They say there was a service freight elevator that did not have surveillance cameras covering it. However, one of the businesses across the street had a camera that did cover the exit on the ground floor. There was no sign of Brian leaving the building. They say his girlfriend calls Brian's phone every night, hoping he would answer. One night, it rang 3 times before going to his voicemail. Police contacted the cell phone provider, who said that the system may have experienced a glitch that would have allowed her to hear a ring, even though the phone wasn't actually ringing. Police were able to determine that the phone had pinged off a tower in Hilliard, Ohio, 14 miles northwest of Columbus. Why would his phone be 14 miles north of Columbus, the last place he was seen? You'd have to tell me why. Called the Short North, is it? I don't know. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. I'm not sure why they couldn't get the GPS. Diane says, I still look for Bryce Lapisa in Sierra, California. Why does that sound really familiar? Bryce Lapisa. Hold on. You know, Ping's got a really good visual memory. If you show me a photo once, I'll always remember it. But if you tell me a name or ask me to remember something, I'll forget next week. But if I see something, I'll remember it. Like, I can remember things that when I was like 5. But if you, I can't remember a lot of details from when I was 5. But if you show me a photo of something, I'd be like, hey, yeah, I used to own one of those. But like small details, names and stuff, I forget very easily over time. I know the guy's face, but I don't know his story. I feel like I've watched some sort of true crime show on him. Like he was on like America's Most Wanted or Unsolved Mysteries, so, you know, something like that. When did he go missing? So he must have gone missing 30th of August, 2013. Why do they think what happened to him? So they're saying this is what he would have looked like at 29 years of age. And he was what, 19 when he went missing? They say in the early hour mornings of August 30, 2013, he went missing at, is it Castiac Lake? As he was driving home to Orange County from Sierra College near Sacramento, where he was a student. A former roommate of his told KCRA the student partied hard and was evicted from their dorm the year before his disappearance. Ooh. The then 19-year-old began the hours-long drive to his parents' home late on the day of August 28th, after he broke up with his girlfriend. The student's parents reported him missing on August 29th after he did not appear at their home. Law enforcement found... did they find his car? Is that what it is? Near Bakersfield, around 8 p.m.? They searched the car but did not find any drugs or alcohol. They say he last spoke to his parents over the phone at 2 a.m. on August 30th. He told them he was driving on the 5 freeway, but did not see any signage showing where he was specifically. He took a detour at 2:08 a.m. and got off the I-5 in a suburban area and was going to sleep in his car. He says his mother told him to call him when he got up in the morning. He did not call her back. The last call with his mother was the last time anyone heard from him. They said on the morning of August 30, between 4:20 and 5:15 a.m., law enforcement officials participating in a training exercise found his car at the lake. The car had tumbled down at 15 feet down a ravine and landed on its passenger side off the main ramp road, just a few hundred feet from Lake Hughes Road. They say his cell phone, wallet, laptop, and clothing were in the car, but he was nowhere to be found. Oh yeah, I know this one. They reckon one of the theories is that he had a head injury from that accident, and that he may have wandered off and died from exposure. Like that's one of the theories, I think, is that they believe that the car accident may have contributed to his death. They say the month after he went missing, a burnt body was found near the same location. To the horror of his family, however, authorities later identified the body of that of a LA homicide victim, according to KBAK TV. I don't know. What do you guys think? His car was found crashed. Are there photos of his car? Let's have a look. Are there photos of Bryce's car? I don't know how we turned into Unsolved Mysteries tonight, but apparently we did. I blame you guys. So that's apparently what his car looked like. Didn't they say it fell down a ravine, though? Is there a ravine down there? It looks pretty smashed up. Even the airbag went off in the car. How do you pronounce that, Diane? Castaic? Oh. Yeah, Castaic Lake. Is that how you pronounce that? Okay. Must be the other side. Yeah, it looks pretty messed up, though. You can see here, the airbag went off. So did the other one. The window, the weird thing is the window's mostly intact, but the side window somehow got smashed out. That's really odd. But then you look here and this bumper here is all messed up. And the car has changed its framework too. See how the door doesn't quite fit here? It means the whole car got warped. That's very strange. Oh, Castaic. Thank you, Kathy. The lake is huge, is it? I can't say I've ever been there. Although they did have photos of it. They had photos of the lake from them searching for him, I think, if I can find them. Yeah. So is this the lake area here? All these intertwining like little, looks like a California lake because it looks like it probably used to be a lot higher. It looks like drought has eaten away at the water and it's a lot lower than it used to be. You can see the water line. See in the photo where it's white here? That's the old water line of that area. Yeah, you see how it changes color? Some of this is old water line. Probably used to be a lot more full at some point. It's a very hilly area, isn't it? It's got a lot of terrain. I mean, really? So it says here, some investigators believe he made a failed S-word attempt before setting off to start a new life in disguise. I don't think so. Why would he call his mum then? Why would he bother calling mum? I don't understand why you would do that and then crash the car. When you just keep driving to Tijuana? They're saying here hours passed, they hadn't heard from him. So they reluctantly filed a missing persons report with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. By tracking his cell phone, 2 officers were able to locate him just a few miles from where Christian had seen him. The officers reported that he seemed lucid and friendly and showed no signs of intoxication nor any drugs or alcohol were found in his vehicle. The police told him that his parents were worried, and when he seemed hesitant to call them, finally dialed for him. Karen told him to come home and called Christian to check on him. By this point, Michael and Karen were relieved when Christian called them to confirm that their son had gotten back onto I-5 and headed south. Was there something in his life, like that being whole kicked out of the campus apartments or something? Would that have affected his schooling, or like, is there a reason you think he would want to do this? Yeah. They're saying it's possible that his drug or alcohol use provoked a psychotic break or withdrawal from Vyvanse, caused a sudden severe depression. It's also possible that he died on or around the night of August 30 and that his remains are yet to be found. I don't know. You guys would have to tell me. I have no idea about this area, and I'm not sure about like why he would want to run away. If they think he was trying to start a new life, under what reason for it? Were his parents hard on him? It seems like his parents loved him and wanted him to come home. They didn't seem like they were mad at him for anything. Like, they won't be like, well, you get here, we're going to lecture you on why you're a bad boy at college. It seems like they were just wanting him to get home safely, and I don't know. You guys would have to tell me. It's not a case I know a ton about. His girlfriend said he was acting really strange and didn't want him. Weird. Oh, it's a type of ADHD medication. I used to take ADHD. Yeah, ADHD. No, ADHD medication when I was younger, but it wasn't that one. I used to take one that started with DEX, and the other word sounds like a drug some people get busted with at the border. Diane says, yes, I think the drug did something. he had too much going on for him. How come they haven't found him then? I mean, it is, look at the area in that photo. You could be anywhere. Gave his possessions away before he left for the drive. That's concerning. Is that what the brand name is? Adderall? Is that the like the, what do they call it? Like the medical, not the medical name. The medical name is the one I was trying to say. Yeah, like the brand name. Ah, that's a generic name for Adderall. Okay. Well, then I was on Adderall when I was younger. I had no idea until you just told me. But yeah, I used to take that when I was younger. Oh, you know what's weird? Throughout my whole life, I've found, like, if you give me a coffee, it literally makes me fall asleep. If you give me caffeine, it acts like I'm taking heroin. It's bizarre. I'll drink a coffee and I'll fall asleep. If you give me, like, some other things, like things that are supposed to be downers, they actually make me awake. It's so weird. It's like everything's up and down, like things that are supposed to be up are down, and things that are down are supposed to be up. But yeah, caffeine does nothing to me. That's why I don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee because I'd be falling asleep right now. Glitter says, me too, it's the ADHD. Things work opposite on me. Almost all medicines work opposite. Yeah, me too. I remember when I was really young, one of my buddies gave me something that you should never do at home and never do in your life. But it's something that a car can do and get a ticket for. You know, when you're driving and you go too fast and then you get a ticket for it, whatever that is called, that's what my friend gave me. And I fell asleep in an hour, and my friend was like, "What the hell?" And he's running around listening to music, and I fell asleep on his couch. And he just thought it was the most weird thing ever. And that was my one and only time doing that. There you go. Weird life of ADHD. All right. We've been on for ages. An hour and 37 minutes. We'll go to 1. We'll go to 10, and then we'll get out of here. No more unsolved mysteries. I blame all of you. I blame all of you for getting me off track. Oh, this is interesting. Let's talk about... No, I don't want to talk about Menendez brothers. I don't want to talk about that. Let's go to Walmart. Let's go to Canada. They say a Halifax Walmart worker was found dead inside bakery oven. By the way, if you're in the US right now, there is a waffle recall for listeria. So if you've got waffles that are made by any of the like brand name, like the supermarket brand names, not the brand name like Eggos, but the supermarket brands, the ones that it's like their private label. If you have any of those private labels bought in the last 7 days, check the date on it and make sure you don't have the ones that have listeria in it. Also, Big Macs. No, not Big Macs. Quarter Pounders. Quarter Pounders also are being recalled. I don't know how you recall a Quarter Pounder, but sure. Apparently, there is some sort of outbreak to do with Big Macs as well in the USA. Okay, it says here, a Walmart employee who was found dead at a Halifax store on Saturday night was discovered inside a walk-in oven in the bakery department, according to police. They say Halifax Regional Police are also imploring the public to be sensitive when sharing information online and to think of the impact it can have on the victims' families and colleagues. They say first responders were called to the Walmart store on Mumford Road around 9:30 p.m. for reports of a sudden death. The store was evacuated and has remained closed since. A spokesperson for the province's Labor Department said a stop work order has been issued for the bakery and one piece of equipment at the Walmart store. The employee was a 19-year-old woman and had recently moved to Canada from India. Members of the local, is it Sikh community or Sikh community, said they were devastated by the loss. That's very sad. No one deserves to go to work and die. They say here, it's very sad for us, for her family as well, because she came for a better future and she lost her life. Society is meeting to see how we can best support the family. That is very sad. Let's see if we can play the video for you.
Walmart employee died on shift over the weekend. Now the public is desperate for answers as an investigation into her death continues.
On October 19th at approximately 9:30 p.m., we received a call to the Walmart at 6990 Mumford Road in Halifax for a report of a sudden death where there was a 19-year-old female who was also a store employee located deceased.
Sources tell Global News the incident involved a large bakery oven, but officials aren't sharing the cause of death.
We are aware of comments on social media, but we just ask the public, once again, for their patience throughout our investigation. And we ask that people be mindful that of the family members involved and the co-workers.
He adds officers are working closely with Occupational Health and Safety and the Nova Scotia Medical Examiner Service. On Sunday, Walmart told Global News they are heartbroken and their thoughts are with the family. They directed all further questions to investigating officers, adding 24/7 virtual care and grief counseling are available to staff. Meanwhile, the Maritime Sick Society is meeting to discuss how they can best support the family.
It's really sad for us, for all our community. And I just want to give message for all of us. There should be, kind of safety procedures we should follow. I mean, you have heard like it was brutal.
Police say the investigation is still in its early stages and no further details are available at this time.
By the way, the guys who are actually in the religion pronounce it differently to how you spelt it. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying you guys tried to correct me, but they pronounce it differently. You guys are asking, like, how can it be in an oven? I'm guessing it's a rotisserie oven. Hold on, I'll show you. They have these types of ovens where you just push the rack in and then they sort of spin around and then they cook whatever's in it. They're called, I think they're called rotisserie ovens, or I'm not sure what they're called, but they're like you sort of push it in, it sits on a wheel and they just spin around and it sort of bakes it from all angles. Here. Open image in new tab. Nope, that's not how we're going to do that. Yeah, I'll just save the image. There we go. Like these, I'll show you. These are walk-in ovens that they have at most bakeries. Some of them don't look like this. Some of them are they've got windows around it, and it's sort of like a cylinder, and you can walk around the whole thing. But it could have been something like this. You can see this is a rotisserie or like a push-in oven. And normally you push in the circular rack or a square rack, whatever, and then you close the door and it bakes. But maybe something like this. But how would she have got trapped in there unless it was already on? But they're pretty frightening. This is from Halifax in Canada, and a girl died in an oven. 19-year-old girl. It is pretty dangerous, yeah. Hold on. A tanning booth. I don't know if it's a tanning booth. Kathy said, leave it to the USA to pronounce it wrong. How do they name themselves? I know, right? No, I like my USA people. All right. Let me see if I can find anything else on this. This poor lady from Halifax. Does she have a name? Let's have a look. So a few hours ago from CBC News in Canada.
More about the death of a teenaged worker at a Halifax Walmart over the weekend. CBC's Sarah Galashan joins us from our breaking news desk. So, Sarah, take us through these new details that were released today.
Yeah. So, Jacqueline, what we knew to this point was that Halifax police were investigating what they have described as a sudden death of a 19-year-old female employee at a Walmart, and that her body was found at the store 9:30 p.m. on Saturday night. Today, they are coming out in a press briefing, clarifying some more details here, just exactly where in the store her body was discovered. Take a listen.
The female was located in the walk-in oven in the bakery within the store.
She was inside the oven?
Yes, in the oven inside the store.
Do we know whether it was on when she was in this oven?
That's part of our investigation, and which is ongoing at this time.
Now, police caution against jumping to any conclusions as to the nature of this death. They say that they have not yet determined the manner in which she died or the cause of death here. To that, they say that that investigation, that part of the investigation could take, quote, a significant amount of time, and that they are working with occupational health and safety in the province, as well as the Nova Scotia Medical Examiner's Office.
Sounds like they're concerned about procedure for new employees and why she died. I think they're concerned, or at least listening to that, they want to know how that could happen, because it does, like, a lot of these things have safety valves and buttons and stuff on it where you can hit a button if you get trapped inside and it'll shut it down and open up. So could this be murder? You think someone would murder someone at a Walmart? Yeah, because something here is a bit weird. Or it's insufficient training for, like, what they call onboarding. So their onboarding procedures are maybe not correct, and that lack of onboarding led to the death of this woman. And if that's true, it opens up Walmart, or at least that particular store, to a lawsuit, because she should have been onboarded correctly to the point where she would know the emergency procedure, how to get out of that thing, not to step in it, and all those types of things. Like, basically, you go past this line, you die. Like, don't go here. And if you go in here, press this button, or those types of. We've all done them. Oh, there'll be CCTV everywhere. It's all Walmart, so Walmart have like 50 cameras for every 2 inches of the store. All right, let me play the video. I'm going to try to look for something. Hold on.
Jacqueline.
So, Sarah, what more is known about this 19-year-old woman?
Over the weekend on Sunday, the Maritime Sikh Association confirmed that she is a member of the local Sikh community. And in that interview, alluding to the fact that she had immigrated to Canada at some point. Her name has not been released publicly. There are flowers outside of the store, notes being left in condolence and in memory of her. As of Tuesday, the store remained temporarily closed. And we know from the Department of Labor in Nova Scotia that a stop work order was issued for the bakery in the store, and specifically one piece of equipment. Walmart has said that they are offering support to employees as well as grief counseling on scene. Jacqueline?
Okay. Sarah, thank you. That is CBC's Sarah Galashan.
All right. Hey, Leisha. How are you? Melmac. It's nice to see Melmac. By the way, I want to thank my friend JDR. I'm not sure if she's here anymore. She was here earlier. JDR was very kind to send in a donation to the PayPal. I very much appreciate it. It's very kind of you. And very generous of you. I know, like I said, guys, I know what it's like out there right now. That's why I'm having to go back and get more work, because it's just everyone. The costs have gone up through the roof for everyone. Me, you, everyone. I'm not a rich YouTuber, so my life is the same as you. It's not like I'm sitting here sipping pina coladas or anything. It's the same life that you guys live. I'm not Mr. Beast, all right? I'm not I'm not Mr. Beast. I don't earn millions of dollars a show or whatever. And, I see some people, some creators complaining of like 300, 400, 500 a show. Should not complain about stuff like that. You should be very thankful to your audience. You should be very, very thankful that you have people that are able to do that for you, but also are willing to do that for you. I've seen creators that get mad over stuff like that. I'm like, don't get mad. That's like, let's run the math. Hold on. Ping can't do math in his head. 500 times, say he's on 7 times a week. That's $3,500 a week. That's more than some people make in a normal career. Like if you work a minimum wage job or whatever, you ain't earning 35 grand a week, like 7 grand a fortnight. That's literally like elite money for a lot of people. So I hate when I see that, when I see some creators bitching and crying about only pulling in 200 on a show or 300 on a show. Like, be thankful. Be thankful you have like nice people who want to support your channel or whatever. Yeah, right? I've seen a few creators recently who were bitching in their chats about that's not enough. Really? Like, understand that costs have gone up for everyone. Like, everyone's insurance has gone up, everyone's fuel's gone up, everyone's rent's gone up, everyone's electric has gone up, everyone's groceries have gone up. It's not going to be like when we're in, I think some people got used to the donations and all that through COVID. Like a lot of creators started because they were at home, right? But everyone was bored and at home and had nowhere to spend their money. So of course everyone was going to send it in on live shows or whatever. Like, of course, because everyone was stuck in their home for like a year. I think some people got used to that type of income. I wasn't around back then, so I didn't even do that. So, but yeah. Yeah, I know. I've seen some clips on Twitter of certain creators doing that, and that really shits me because shouldn't you be kind to your people who help you out? Evil says I make 16K a year of a single mom of 4. You must do some absolute juggling, my friend. Right, exactly. Is that Grizzly? Is that Grizzly you're talking about? I know they make quite a bit. Oh, that's a lot of money. Hey, Jen. Jen says my son signed up for a volunteering holiday in a year and a half. So we're finding ways to fundraise the fee. It's £5,500. That's a lot. How much is that in Australian dollars? Like 10 grand, right? It's a hell of a money. It's always robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's true. Oh, do you? Maria says I take Vyvanse to take for ADHD. I'm glad I seem to attract all the ADHD people. They all seem to resonate with Ping, apparently. They're probably the only ones who can understand my crazy thoughts. They're probably like, yes, that guy makes a lot of sense. Everyone else that has a normal mind is like, this guy's crazy. He's literally crackers. We're not going to listen to him anymore. He is literally crackers. All right, let's listen. I'm very sad to hear about this girl. Hopefully we find out more about what happened to her and like the SOP, so standard operating procedure. All stores must have one, and any onboarding that she did. If so, why was she allowed near the oven when not, properly trained, onboarded, that type of thing? Jen says everyone loves Ping. Well, that's very kind of you to say. That's very kind. I wish we could use our Facebook page a bit more, but let's see. Are we being banned still? Let me say hi to everyone on my Facebook. Let's have a look. Nope, we are still getting shut down by the man, see? We limit how often you can post, comment, or do things in a given amount of time. I haven't been able to post in like 24 hours. How many posts do you want me to do per week? Like 1? And it says here, to help protect the community from spam. Spam? I ain't no spam. Yeah, so it won't let me post it. So we're still blocked apparently on Facebook. Yeah, I'll show it to you, but we can't use it right now. Hopefully it'll come back eventually. Let's see. It's just Nights with Ping. You should be able to find it. But I'll post it. We're going to do some live shows over there in the future too, when we're allowed back. Adderall is the brand name versus generic. I think I just had the generic. I think my parents were like, it's too expensive for the good one. What time is it? It's like 1:04. Okay. All right. Shall we do one more and then let's get out of here? Shall we do one more? One more. Oh my god. Are they really doing that with Daybell? Apparently, I've just read, it came across my screen. Judge grants Lori Vallow Daybell request for competency evaluation request. Oh my god. She's going to get put in the fairy prison again. Sorry, that's a very derogatory term. Shouldn't say that. But she deserves it. Let's see what else we have. This is actually a story that I know Alaska really likes. Hold on. There was a new search for so I don't think this ended very well though. There was a story you told me about Alaska from, is it Jalick Rainwalker? They said there was bones found, but apparently they're saying now that those bones are not adult bones, whatever that means. Here. They say tipped off police find human skeletal remains in Troy. Troy police said Monday they were investigating human skeletal remains found near Burden Pond in South Troy, near to where state police previously searched while following up a tip about possible evidence in 2007 disappearance of the 12-year-old. They say the patrol officers, tipped off Sunday by a caller, responded to the scene near Burden Falls and secured it with the help of detectives and investigators. And what is the new news here? They saying law enforcement sources told the Albany Times-Union that non-adult bones, human bones, including a skull and ribs, were found at Burden Pond Preserve in Troy. A tip led detectives to a 100-foot square area on the preserve, not far from where they searched for the 12-year-old in 2022. They say the bones belong to a mid to late teenager. But according to the adoptive grandmother, identification has yet to be made on those remains. Wow, if that is him, I mean, if that's sorry, I don't know if that's a him or a her. Sorry, Ping, why do you do that? It's a boy. Yeah, him. Sorry. If that is the missing child, wow, what a way to solve that case. A tip. Someone called it in saying there's human remains there. That is wow. That would be amazing if they could do that. That's very nice. Diane Marie says, I told the doctor you sent me. He posted your link and said you're good people. Eric, thank you. I appreciate it. If Eric's out there. Thanks, mate. I'll email him after the show and just say thank you. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's always helped me out when I need it. He's done a lot for me. He's passed on documents and stuff and said, like, have a look at this, and tried to keep me informed on a few different things. So I really do appreciate it. And yeah, just don't bomb his chat. I don't want him to think like I'm sending people to his chat to annoy the crap out of him and steal viewers or something, but I appreciate it. Hold on, let's find out more about Rainwalker. I want to find out whether that when can we expect an ID? Let's go to here.
In Troy. Skeletal remains have been found near the Burden Pond area in Troy, New York. That's a location police have searched before. looking for a missing child with family ties to Vermont. According to the Albany Times-Union, detectives found the bones of a non-adult close to the last known whereabouts of 12-year-old Jeliek Rainwalker. He disappeared back in 2007. Jeliek's adoptive father, Stephen Burdell Kerr, is a person of interest in this case. He moved to Vermont after his son's disappearance. Further analysis is needed to pinpoint the age and the identity of those skeletal remains. Skeletal remains.
That news guy seems really depressed. I don't know if you saw that, but he looked like he's like, I only have 7 days till I can retire. I'm only here for my retirement check. He seemed really depressed. He seemed like he really needs a new job. So yeah, skeletal remains have been located near Burden Pond area in Troy, in New York, in a location previously searched in the hunt for the missing child with family ties to Vermont. The Albany Times-Union said detectives found the bones of a non-adult close to the last known whereabouts of the 12-year-old who disappeared in 2007. You have to ask, why wasn't it located before today? Why has it been sitting there since 2007? And if you searched the area before, how come you didn't find it? It's very confusing. Hey, Hella, how are you? Good to see you. Did a Hella raid? Did you guys just get off your Karen? Is it Karen Reed? No, that's Ping. That's a different trial. Did you go off your trial thing for the suitcase lady? Things that make you go, definitely. I always, when people go back and then they're like, oh my God, we found the person that we're looking for. They're right there all along. You have to go, who did the searching in the first place and why didn't they find it? And what kind of assurance systems do you have in place for review after you get a solid tip and you go there and go, nah, we didn't find anything? It makes me wonder about William Terrell. William Terrell, the missing child out of New South Wales, Australia. It makes me wonder because they were like, we did a $2 million search. We searched every inch of this ground for a month and we didn't find anything. And I'm like, you sure about that? Yeah, nah. That's right. Yeah, nah. Not convinced. Not convinced. William Terrell case is still just dragging on. His parents have beaten a couple of charges in court recently, and it looks like it's just stalling out again. For a moment, it looked like that his parents may end up being charged over his disappearance, but sorry, parents is the wrong word. Adoptive or foster parent, if you want to use that word. Yeah, it's just completely stalled out again. I think they said here 2 days ago on news.com, they say ridiculous, explosive William Terrell claim exposed. A witness hey, shut up. A witness in the disappearance of William has leveled explosive criticism at police who falsely claimed she had refused to give evidence. They say a witness claims police investigating the 3-year-old's disappearance misled a court by saying she refused to provide a statement of her evidence when she said she was never asked. Her explosive criticism is the latest bombshell from news.com.au's podcast series, Witness William Terrell. They're saying these include missing evidence, tips that were never followed, and that police refused to give witnesses copies of their own interviews after they criticized the strike force. Well, that kid has been missing since the early 2010s, and no one's ever found him. No one's ever been charged over it. So criticism for the multi-million-dollar investigation into William, I think, is warranted. Like, you're spending the public's money, millions of dollars, that deprive other families of support networks or looking for their children. and you can't find this child, who's the most famous missing child in Australia. You deserve the criticism, and that's part of the job. It's a results-based business, very much like football. Your team sucks and they lose a lot, coaches get fired. Same in policing. You suck, you can't solve cases, you'll get fired. Yeah, you'll get criticism. It's just how it is. You spend $3 million of the public's money looking for this kid and then come up with no results, you're going to cop some criticism. It's just the way it is. They say here, the latest witness believes the strike force was wrong to be targeting William's foster mother as a suspect, and that their theory of what happened is a Monty Python pantomime. A close friend of William's foster parents, a woman, does not believe the couple were involved in the disappearance from his foster grandmother's home near Kendall on the 12th of September 2014. She says it's ridiculous, and she asked not to be named. Okay, we won't name you. She says when one of the strike force detectives, Sean, had given evidence in a court saying she declined to give police a witness statement, the woman said, "I was never asked to. I did not decline. I was never asked. I was never asked to provide that statement." She confirmed that 2 other detectives did question her about William's foster parents, who cannot be named, but said she told them, "I don't believe they had anything to do with William's disappearance." Well, I don't know if anyone believes you, lady. I think you'd have to come up with a much better theory than that. The woman also provided a written reference for the foster parents in a different matter, which has been seen by news.com.au. The reference says, "I know without a shred of doubt that they are not capable or guilty of any negative behavior towards children." I am guessing that is the allegation that the parents abused their other adoptive child. So they went to court a couple of years ago about abusing. They have another, I think it's a little girl. I think she's a little older than William, or she is now because William's no longer with us. They are accused of abusing her as well. And the reference says, "I know without a shred of doubt that they are not capable of guilty of any negative behavior towards children." You know, even though the secret recording showed them abusing the child, sure. I was interviewed by police officers in October 2021. What I have written here is what I told police. They say here the detective senior constable told Parramatta local court last year that police had substantial number of witness statements. They were gathered as part of a separate prosecution of the foster parents for the alleged assault and intimidation of a child who is not William. Yes, it's their other child. It's a girl. They are accused of like kicking her, smacking her with a spoon, yelling at her, degrading her, like just all these really nasty things they did to her. So now this woman has come out of the woodwork trying to say that, oh, they're the loveliest people on earth. They have nothing to do with it. That's all they were saying, hey? Okay. Very interesting. Hey, Darlie, how are you? Poor child. I hope they find him eventually. I mean, they've already spent God knows how many million. Angela says, so nice people then. Yeah, so actually last year, that foster mother and the foster father had come out and said, you need to provide your evidence of why you think we're guilty of William's death and charge us or drop it. And so far, that's basically what has happened. Nothing has progressed forward. No one's been charged. So I'm not sure if they called the police's bluff and the police didn't have anything to back it up and they were just trying to see if she would break eventually. Because, yeah, since that point, they were very confident last year. They were in court saying, we know what happened to William. The foster mother killed him or whatever. No, I don't think sorry, I spoke wrong. They don't believe she killed him. They believe that William died accidentally and that she covered up his death. And that's what they believe. The police believe he fell off a railing. So their house in that thing was like a 2-story Queenslander. and it had a balcony that ran along the outside of the home, and it was on the second story. So it was sort of like a slanted type. You know when you get those houses that are on sort of like a slant? So they have like a garage underneath and then a level above where the main part of the home is. There was a balcony that ran along that second level, and they believe William was playing out there and then fell and died, and that she freaked out and buried him, took him somewhere, disposed of his remains. Whatever that is, I don't know. People like that won't break. We'll see. It's been going on for, I don't know, 10 years more. Rachel, thanks. I'll show that in a second when we wrap up. I will show that. That's pretty funny. So there you go. There's the update. So if you want to watch that podcast, you can get to it on news.com.au. Come on, computer. You got to do better than this. Computer is not liking the 900 tabs open. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I have to fix this. Otherwise, we're going to freeze. Hold on. All right, so what else are they saying in this? That's it. New South Wales police said they were unable to comment due to the ongoing inquest into William's disappearance, which is due to resume next month. That'll be very interesting. They've held this inquest over a number of years now, and they've done it sort of in little bits, and then it has been paused due to new evidence or charges, and it's sort of been very fragmented in the hearing. Normally, you have these inquests in Australia, and they sometimes do pause like this for a period of time for either new information, new evidence, new charges, but then they normally resume pretty quickly. This one's been on hold, I think, for about a year. But they're gonna go back to it. We'll see. Can they get the coroner to declare what happened to William? Can they get a ruling on what they believe there's enough evidence to say what happened to little William? And I think that's what there's William there. They're hoping that they can get that ruling. So it could be died via accidental death, something like that. It could be murdered, could be death by misadventure. There's a whole bunch of rulings that they can undertake in the coronial court. The coroner could say he died via unspecified means, and she has declared that once before because they weren't able to prove what happened to William. So if they come back with a died via unspecified means, again, it means they failed because they've now wasted a second coronial inquest into William Terrell's disappearance. So we'll see. I know a lot of people are very critical of the foster parents, the police. I think people are just sick of it. I think people are sick of no answers in William's case. I think that's what it is. People just want to know what happened to that little boy. So here it says the foster mother of missing toddler William Terrell has broken her 2-year-long silence to slam police for having done nothing to find the young boy. Interesting, she very rarely speaks. They say, however, in a rare interview with News Corp, the foster mother, who cannot be named, accused New South Wales police of letting William's abductor slip while it was busy prosecuting her. She says, I believe that if police had properly investigated the case instead of prosecuting or persecuting me, they may have well found the person responsible for William's disappearance. The foster mother further argued her innocence, saying she has no idea who took William or what happened to him. For the past 5 years, the police have done nothing to try to discover who took William and what has happened to him. Lady, I would say that often when we are gifted other people's children as an adoption or a foster situation, that ultimate responsibility for that child rests upon your shoulders, and that there is no one to blame here beside the person who took and I say that in quotations, took William, hurt William in quotations, but also at the end of the day, you're the parent. You're the one who was in the care of, like he was in your care at the time. So, who else would you like us to blame? The mystery man, the boogeyman who apparently has William that no one can find, no one's ever heard of, and no witnesses have ever described? Or do we end up blaming the person who had sole custody of William at the time and whose supervision he was under? It's that kid's been missing for so long and no one can tell us today where he is. They're saying William's foster mother faced harsh speculation in November 2021 after New South Wales police sought an apprehended violence order against her in relation to allegations she assaulted another child. During court proceedings, part of New South Wales police theory against her was shared with Detective Sergeant Andrew, Lonergan in 2022, claiming she knows where William Terrell is. When asked if police's theory at its highest involved the foster mother interfering with a corpse, he replied, yes. So police believe that William died. They're not that they killed him, but that he accidentally died, fell off a balcony or something. And her and her mother, who's no longer here, she died. Those two covered it up. They're saying here, William's biological family have also spoken on the podcast, with his biological grandmother, Natalie Collins, last week admitting she'd previously hidden the boy from authorities. Ms. Collins said she was behind his first disappearance after a court ordered him to be taken from his biological parents, her son Brendan, and Carly Terrell. So Carly's his mum, his biological mum. So apparently she says, I hid them. I hid them for 3 months after I knew government officials were going to take William. I arranged it all. William was just 7 months old in February 2012 when the court ordered that he be taken from his biological parents. The Department of Family and Community Services were concerned about domestic violence and substance abuse within the boy's family. William's mother, Carly, was at the hearing and so knew her son was going to be placed under parental responsibility of a New South Wales government minister. But when authorities arrived to collect William from his home that afternoon, the family had gone into hiding with Miss Collins, who said she was the mastermind of the disappearance. By the way, here's the police. This is a photo of them searching not too far from the Kendall property where he disappeared from. They spent this entire search in 2021. It was about 3 weeks or something like that. Just digging up ground, having dogs come in, searching for any trace of William that could have been buried nearby. And they found a couple of items, and testing revealed that it inconclusive. No solid relation to William. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, so they're saying here the family's very mad, his biological family, saying that, we gave this little boy who his family desperately wanted to keep, like his biological mom and his biological father and his biological grandmother, even though they had their issues, they wanted to keep him in their care. The state thought otherwise. They sent him to a foster family in with these people, and he goes missing from their house. So they are extremely angry. Like, I think you would be too. You think that your son's going to go have a better life somewhere, and he does not. All right, hey, we're getting really close to Trisha's show, so I better wrap this up. All right, let's get out of here. Hey, I love you all. We'll be back for a late show at midnight Eastern, something like that. And then I hope you have fun at Trisha's. Thanks to Hella for the Hella raid. I hope you're having fun with the Sarah Boone case. I hope that's going well for you. And yeah, we'll be back at midnight doing more weird and interesting true crime from around the world. Let me check one thing. Thank you to the Docket and Eric too for the shout out and the link in your chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, JDR was our donation tonight. I really appreciate it, JDR. Thank you very much. I will see you guys at midnight Eastern for the late show. Peace. Good night.